Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. We have to jump right into this. We're at the highest alert, and as preppers, we've been waiting for crap hit at the fan. It literally could be Friday the 13th. Let's jump right into this. If you didn't hear, because all the stuff happening in Israel, Hamas is now calling for a global day of jihad on Friday the 13th. Hamas has called on Muslims worldwide to stage a day of jihad, or as they call a holy war, on Friday, October 13th. And they refer it to Al-Aqsa flood, referring to the name of the operation which murdered more than 1,200, over 1,300 Jews now, wounded 3,000, and kidnapped well over 100 people taken back into Palestine. And from this article, it is an unambiguous global call to arms. It will be heated, and there will be blood. And we're not talking about necessarily in Israel, even though it's going to happen there too. Britain, European Union, and especially here in the United States. Stick through the rest of the video, and I'm going to show you why. The real threat here is that there is no way of knowing who, if anyone, will take up the call, or if there are pre-planned actions already staged elsewhere in the world, just waiting for the green light. And what we're talking about here, to be clear, are sleeper cells. Are there sleeper cells here in the United States? I think the rest of this video will show you absolutely yes, there are. And most of this came from Biden's administration's open door immigration policy, where the president has thrown virtually every post-9/11 caution to the wind. I don't think that's the case. He is not throwing it to the wind. This is planned and orchestrated, as I'll show you in a minute, but let's keep reading. From Turning Point USA, 70,000 illegal immigrants from Middle Eastern nations have crossed U.S. southern border in 2 years. Oh, it's far more than that. These are the ones that are apprehended, by the way, 700,000. The data does not include the estimated, ready for this, 1.5 million gotaways that have entered the U.S. over the past several years. And another article says border agents confirm, border agents who are there, 1.2 million gotaway migrants under the Biden administration. And this article is pushing a year old. So let's get to the nitty-gritty and talk about what's really happening here. There's been countless reports of nationals coming across the border. We're not talking about, honestly, I'm very much accepting for, like, for example, Mexican immigrant families coming in. I mean, I will be the first to tell you, they should go under the typical immigration status and get their citizenship the correct way. But a family that's truly trying to come to the United States and make a better living for themselves, I'm all for that. I'm 100% for that. But that's not what we're talking about here. Beside those families, what we are seeing in our nationals coming across, this is not speculation, this is well documented. Chinese nationals, nationals from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and Middle Eastern nationals. And when I say nationals, I'm not talking about women, I'm not talking about children, I'm not talking about older people or elderly. I am talking about military-age males coming across by the hundreds of thousands into the United States. So think about it this way. In Israel, they broke the border and invaded Israel. The Hamas militants did. And they're not terrorists, by the way. This has been going around, people talk about being terrorists. Terrorists are there to simply incite terror, to try to cause change in action. This is an army. Even though they actually classify themselves as a militant group, or people classify them as terrorists, this is an actual army invasion that Israel has seen. And we in the United States cannot look at it any differently. This is an army that has come across our borders, allowed to come across our borders, mind you, into the United States and form, more than likely, most probably, sleeper cells in the United States. Picture hundreds of thousands of militants, and now there has been a call to arms. So when we see Hamas calling for a global day of jihad on Friday the 13th, this is exactly who they are telling. It's time to wake up, time to get to arms, and time to take action. And it is truly ironic. Have you seen what's happening? Where Biden is now saying, yeah, let's start putting up the wall. Putting up the wall after they're already here. Think about this. Why would he, out of any time, now say, put up the wall? It's very simple. Because he knows something's coming. He knows we're about to see crap hit the fan, and afterwards he can say, well, look, we're trying to do what we can to build the wall. Why do you think he's waited until now to finally start saying to build up the wall? Because he even has a lot of voters for him, which, you know, all 13 of them, getting really mad because they're like, wait, why are you doing this wall? This is why. Because he knows something's going to happen, and he wants to say, oh, look, I tried to actually do what I can to prepare for all of this. So I'll say it again, it is an unambiguous global call to arms. There is nothing cloudy or misinformation here. It will be heated, and again, there will be blood. Be ready. These militant groups are here. This is not speculation. We know they are. So as preppers, this is our highest alert that we have up to date as far as Goshen prepping goes. We need to be ready for this because on this day that's coming up, Friday the 13th, we need to be ready. You need to be hypervigilant. We've been talking about this for a long time now on this channel. You need to have situational awareness. You need to be able to barricade your doors. You need to be able to watch your property, watch your neighbors, set booby traps. All these things that we've talked about doing in the past, up till now, marks right now is time to take that action. Do not do what the typical sleeping person does and just close your eyes and say, it's not going to happen. Guaranteed we're going to have people comment, nothing's going to happen. Let's say nothing does happen. Are you saying nothing's ever going to happen the rest of your life? That is the dumbest thing you could ever say in these situations. This is why we prep. This is why we prepare. And I will tell you, for me and my family, we're going to be well fortified and have alerts and even drills until then to be ready for this. And as far as any trips into town, if you're living in a city, we're already starting to see major actions between pro-Israeli and pro-Palestinians clashing in the streets. And New York City is in a high alert just because of this alone. But now the country should be at alert. Even if the United States has not placed the United States on alert, the federal government hasn't, you need to be on alert, the highest alert you can to be ready for tomorrow. We'll stick through this. And more than likely, if we start seeing some action, I'm going to go live tomorrow as we talk about this. But you need to watch out for you and your family. Watch out for your neighbor, by the way. This is not a time to sit back and let things happen. This is a call to action for you. This is a call to arms for you. You take care of you and your family and your neighbors, because it is time for us to do what we need to do to preppers instead of sitting back and watching these things happen. Get ready. Tomorrow, Friday the 13th, could be a very frightening day.